Hey guys, welcome back. And this is going to be. Shut the fuck up. Okay, wait, give me 1 second. Welcome back. And this is going to be a quick and dirty, I believe, second video regarding Chaos Zero Nightmare, which literally just launched around roughly 24-ish hour ago. So this is gonna be a day one progression guide for y'all jobbers out there. Honestly, I should have cooked this up a little bit more, but a little bit of a context, you should be roughly at this level after your very first day playing Chaos Zero Nightmare. So we're gonna be talking about re-rolling. Do you need a reroll tier? Okay, maybe not tier list. What to expect in the game, missions, image, chaos, blah blah. And without further ado, let's get into today's content. First things first, do you need to reroll? Wait, no, that is the second thing. First things first, I am, in fact, if you take a look over here, a complete free to play, right? This is a complete free to play guide into your progression in Chaos Zero Nightmare. I didn't buy none of that. I didn't buy none of that. I didn't buy none of that. I didn't buy nothing, right? I didn't buy absolutely a completely free to play day one progression guide for your Chaos Zero jobbers out there. So you know for a fact this is gonna be hella relatable, right? So that is the first thing. Second thing out of the way, do you need to re-roll in this game? So a little bit of a context. My current free-to-play account has roughly done I went to hard pity for a Haru Urara, completely missed her, lost a 50-50, so that's already 70 pulls in. I went this for a hard pity. I think they reset it, so we are also 140 pulls in. Then they 40 pulls for the whatever this is. So I think grand total, you are getting at least 70 limited summons and roughly more than 100 standard summons from my very first day. So pulls in the early game, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. And also brand new tip, if you are gonna be able to get a 5-star over here, I personally wouldn't continue pulling anymore because it doesn't build towards the pity over here. And second of all, you can't get another 5-star. So if you get a 5-star at any point from 1 to 50, you just go next, right? So that's gonna be that. Okay, should you re-roll in this game? So here is exactly who I have ever right now. Generally speaking, I wouldn't recommend it because I know there's like tier lists and like which unit is better. Like for example, should you try to get a Haru? I know Penelope or Cantaloupe. Cantaloupe is like really crazy, and a lot of people are saying good things. But the way that this game plays, right? If you guys played this game called Uma Musume, is a little bit similar in that sense, where each of these individual units, they are not really a full unit itself. You are essentially pulling for their blueprints, if you get what I'm saying. So at a baseline, you level up their levels, you level up their partner cards, but most of where, okay, the tracers as well, but most of where they come from is from the save data. So the save data is where each of your units can change between each build. So you have like different builds for each different units, and they all have like different abilities and special upgrades to make them like work in different ways. So for example, like for Haru, right, like the Haru build, you can go for like the Psycho build, or you can go for like the Retain card build, or you can go for like any other build. So there's a lot of flexibility between each unit themselves, and frankly speaking, I genuinely don't think anybody really knows how to really say one unit is the best above the others. So I personally just wouldn't really worry about which unit is better or which unit is whatever. Generally speaking, you can't really go wrong with the unit that they give you, right? So Mika, she's like the free buy loot that the game gives you, because this game is a very heavily reliant on your sustains, right? It's a very sustain heavy game for both your health as well as your shield, which means if you induce trauma, you're probably gonna go like mind break and then all the things. So generally speaking, you really want to run a sustain the game, even though other cards they have like heals. So for example, you can see Keone, he does have a couple of heals, right? It is nowhere near as strong as what Bro does, because not only does she have heals, she has AP. So she is like a heal plus battery plus card cycling all in one. So if you have her, which everybody should have because it's a free unit, you basically just raise her. And the other two units, you can kind of just mix and match and see where this game is going to take you. I would say at the start of this game, Where feels like a tier 0 to me, right? I mean, we are nowhere near the end game or whatever, but from what I've seen across my personal experience and a lot of like cross-reference with like the other players from my CBT, even from my CN gear, Veronica seems to be the only one that's like consistently at least in tier 0. So like if you play Hearthstone or like Yu-Gi-Oh, like Paul V, right, or like anything, that she's a very cheap DPS that doesn't consume a lot of like AP. And she can help you cycle through your decks at a faster pace. So it is almost like a tip where she can pretty much just run her into almost any other team, and she can provide this like support damage while you have that support, which is the sustain, as well as the main DPS. So generally, I think she feels like super nice. But of course, there are like a lot of these cards, they change when you unlock their potential, right? So every single one of the 5 stars or 4 or whatever, this thing changes everything. It's like one of the key traits. So for example, Veronica is gonna get that. Kron, bro, is gonna have this, which makes him build up the utility a lot faster. So I really wouldn't take like day 1 tier list with like a massive grain of salt. But generally speaking, you can just go down there. The other free unit is pretty good, which is gonna be Bro over here. She's free. She's basically like a DOT single target burst-ish DPS. If you have her, you're like nothing else good, and you really want DPS, I don't think you can go wrong with this as well. So that is pretty much gonna be that. TLDR, I personally would not reroll. Okay, so what to expect in day 1? Rabbit mouse. What to expect from your day 1 progression? First things first, if you play anything similar to Epic 7 or any other like this is not technically mainstream gacha games, but like those like other side games where you want to spend your stamina as fast as possible to unlock all of the farming spots, right? So slam mission as much as you can from the story. If you want to play through the story, if you don't want to play through the story, it's up to you. They have a 3 times speed button. Go through with it, get to as far as you can. You are gonna be around soft locked at chapter 2 right here. So something like this, right? This is where gonna be first locked because the first level cap is level 20, and there's a little bit of a playtime difference where you need to play a couple of chaos runs to spend your stamina to actually get to level 20, and it unlocks the rest of the path for you. And then the next cap is gonna be level 30, right? Which is where I am currently at right now. This is technically going to day 2, but that is pretty much what you can expect from day 1. So clear main story as much as you can. I would say for a little bit of a touch on the main story itself, it is not your typical Genshin Impact happy haha hoo hoo hee hee head where like and nothing happens and people die and they become revamp. No, right? So this game, I think the story has a lot more interesting look. And if you like the way that I finished chapter 3, I will personally recommend you guys checking out the story, right? But that's just a side note. I'm just here for the gameplay, so that's gonna be that. Simulation is pretty much where you're gonna be spending all of your stamina, right? So this is gonna be where you're spending all of your things. Growth, combatant, partner, potential, blah 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 blah. This is gonna be things that you wouldn't really need to worry about because the game gives you a shit ton, so ignore this. Combatant, don't have to worry about it. Game gives you a shit ton. Partner is also don't have to worry because it's basically your light codes, right? Don't worry about. This is where you're probably gonna be farming a little bit more because the traits when you farm this is a little bit linear because you need like a ton of potential materials, and potential is like the most biggest upgrade, especially at, I'm guessing you can call it like potential 4. Like when you get this thing, almost every single unit, if you want to use them for real, you want to unlock this. So potential is probably the one that's going to be dumping a lot of your stamina at the start of the game, so they're going to be that. Memory fragments. Yep, this game has a relic system. I think this unlocks the level 25 if I'm not mistaken. So you do have a relic system. So if you play like E7, HSR, whatever, this is like a Cavern of Corrosion. So you have this is gonna be your 4-piece critical damage, one of your 1 cost card, then give a 2-piece max HP. So I personally wouldn't really give a shit about this at all, at least until a little bit more towards a later portion, because just like all of those other gacha games, the later you go, which goes to very late by the way, like all the way to level 10, you can unlock the higher difficulties. So in the early game, I wouldn't worry about it. You can just kind of ignore this for now. All of my units, they're pretty much all naked, except for a couple of units, they give you some free gears, right? These are all free, so I'm just gonna slap on. I didn't upgrade at all, and yes, the relic system in the game works exactly the same like HSR. Unlock a subset, +3, +6, whatever. So is it +3? Hold up. Is it actually +3? Okay, I guess I don't even have a single thing that unlocked after upgrading 1. Okay, whatever's gonna TLDR is gonna be the exact same as HSR and all the kind of things, so I don't really need to worry about it too much for now. So that's gonna be that. Other than that, from the earlier portions, your simulation should purely be focused on getting your main team of 3 up, right? Because your main team of 3 is what you're gonna be taking through the story, which eventually brings you to the chaos. So the whole core of Chaos Zero Nightmare is that you do your career runs, right? Your career runs are gonna be done from this Chaos Manifest. I can't show you guys that because I'm in the middle of a Chaos career run. So you basically take your 3 teams and they're all in a blank state, right? All these units, you get them with like, you can only their levels, their partners, and their potential. Everything else is that you can't really get them upgraded because each of their cards are gonna be determined from the save data in which you experience from going to your career runs, right? So each save data is gonna have all of the different upgrades, and ideally you wanna do higher and higher difficulty chaos runs to eventually get this TB as high as possible. So in the early game, I wouldn't farm this just to bring this as high as you can, because first of all, it's extremely difficult to actually get this like super high because the monsters are like, you know, they're pretty mongas, and respectively, this game does require a lot more depth than the usual Gacha game, and you cannot auto during your Chaos Nightmare gameplay, so you are probably not going to be getting very far unless you actually level up the rest of stuff to make it a little bit more accessible for you. So in the early game, I wouldn't worry about farming this because eventually it's going to go like 60k, 100k even, so it's like super inconsequential. But just know that in the earlier stages, these are where you're going to be making your unit stronger, aside from your relics, your weapons, your partners, and everything else. So Chaos Manifestation, you can go and take a look at the gameplay, and we're going to talk about it a little bit, so don't even worry about it. I think you unlock the Chaos World Tree at the end of Mission 3, I believe. Is this right here. Yeah, Chapter 3, you unlock City of Mist, and this is where I think most players on day 2 is probably going to be going around playing the moment you hit level 30 and you can unlock the highest difficulty of farming. So the cycle of this gameplay loop is like, you go through the main story, you clear as much as you can, so you get all the XP, and then the moment you cannot proceed any further, you try to dump your stamina into simulation, right? So you dump your stamina into simulation, you farm for your potential, you farm for anything else you need. I personally wouldn't farm the gears for now, and then the moment you can get your units better, then bring them into chaos and see where they can go from each chaos runs, right? So even though if you fail, you can still save the memory in which you fail, as unless you hit the trauma mode, right? The deep trauma. I won't talk about this here, but that's how you go. Mission, simulation, chaos, and then this go as high you can, then you're gonna just cycle everything back. There is an end game content a little bit later, but I'll touch on it a little bit later. This is Ark City. So it is kind of like your base system. So policy, obviously you want to do this like as frequent as you can. So every day you get like 4. I will always buy out these things because these gives you like permanent increases to your research facility, which you want to also upgrade as much as you can. I think that you can make like a lot of guys about this, but I think the general tip is just go here. I personally bought out the this weekly limit special code because it unlocks Vernoa's trauma down, whatever it's gonna be, and also the weekly limit shop for your policy reports. So you want to do this as much as you can so that you can actually get this up to a highest grade possible and proceed the entire art base, right? Then your diner is basically it's like full buffs. If you play Monster Hunter or like your Xenozones, your full buffs gets a little bit more stats, so that's gonna be that. Your cafe is basically your Xenozones cafe. So if you go over here, you can talk to Bella and then she gives you free coffee. But if you already drank coffee, you can't really do it by the menu, so that's gonna be that. Epi own center is gonna be where like the trauma happens, right? So trauma code psychotherapy. This is basically where like if you kill your units. Like if you kill your units and they have like PTSD, they are gonna be f***ed up. So you wanna make them happier in real life, you need to like go counsel them or just simply delete their memories. So if you delete their memories, it will heal them back up to become happy again, but you also lose that save file in the chaos mode. So it kind of up to you. I wouldn't worry about it because even if you play in like the deep trauma mode is not as scary as it is. Like my current run right now is like in the deep trauma mode, right? So that's gonna be that. I'll leave up to you guys to do it. Trauma code is a little bit like side stories. So we have one right now which is on how to do that, right? So this is the rate up unit. So this everything is gonna be unlocked for you. You have all the side quests. Do all these because it's basically free and you get a lot of EXP as well. And it's free so just finish it. And I just unlocked Reroll and oh my god. Yep, so all these are like your basic companion quests, right? They're basically your companion quests, so you understand a little bit more about like their lore and like how they could get a trauma and all the missions. So might just get it and get it over now. So that's gonna be your trauma code. Other than that, that is pretty much it for Ark City. Oh, you can go out, you can go risk, right? You can go out on a date with them. So you can see over here, if you already go 3 times a day, you can't go on a date anymore. They can just refresh every single day. You want to get this as high as possible because at the activity here, yeah, you want to bring them up to Infinity level 5. And I think most people will be stuck over here and before they get into the next beginner missions. So I want to try to bring this up as much as possible. Aim for 1, give them as many as you can, and then get into level 5, right? This is basically your Echoes of War from the... Oh wait, yeah, Loki forgot about this. Hey, this is gonna be your Echoes of War, right? I wouldn't farm this because it refreshes on a weekly basis, right? 3 days, 4 hours remaining. I want to try to get this to level 30 if possible to see if I can get a little bit more drops. If I can't, then I'm just gonna get this, but I'll mostly try to wait for this one. So that's gonna be that. After all that, I think we can take a look a little bit at the what you call it. I think team building guides, cards, it can be like a whole other separate topic. Because frankly speaking, I'm also not super familiar with this game, so it's a little bit out of my depth. I think what I generally know, like some general team building and like raising units is you want to have at the bare minimum an AP Cycler plus Sustain, which just so happens to be Mika, right? You either run Mika, you could try running this girl. Yeah, she also has AP Cycling, she has a lot of discard mechanics, but I think she doesn't sustain as comfortably as Mika, and honestly, respectively, she's just way easier to play, because she definitely, like all the discard functions, you need to know which card you want to discard in the first place. So I would probably say raise Mika as like your foundation, then you pick 2 more. If you have a shooter, fantastic, you can reduce, you take a little bit less moral damage. If you don't have a shooter, you can just run 1 main DPS or 1 sub DPS. So it kind of just depends on what you want. You want to ideally make it such that you funnel your skills to build up that 1 big burst. Because from what I've noticed, almost every single one of these units, they play on like combos. So like I thought that 1 unit is like Miracle Road from Hearthstone. Pretty much almost every single DPS in this game, they all play like Miracle Rogue, right? So for example, for like Kayron, you want to generate futility, and then you want to make use of his ultimate to deal more damage. But also, some of these games they're completely bugged, so and whatever that isn't. You want to generate as many cards as possible to combo them with one another. So this is going to be the case for Kayron. For Renoa, it's very similar as well. You want to create bullets and you let go of your bullets to deal more damage, right? I think other DPS that I don't have is also function similarly. You want to make the cards work with one another as the battle progresses further and further. So that's going to be that. And other units are a little bit more straightforward. So for example, Veronica is super straightforward. You just cast this, you get 1 Ballista every single turn, 399, and the rest of the cards just help you cycle. So it kind of depends on what you have. I know there's also a huge demand for like shooters. I would personally not raise a bro, because even though bro is like a shooter, right, the thing is she doesn't have a lot of shields, because the only thing that gains her shield is this. Every other card she has is like she has metallization, she has resolve, and she deals damage. But only as a shooter you want to get more shields, but she has 1 card that gives you shield, which is like a little bit sus. So which is why even though she's free, I probably would not be raising her. But if you have like the outer, like the holy absolutely massive badongas, I'm not sure if we can see over here. Okay, I guess we can see it right here. Yeah, this Mary Bell, pretty decent, right? At least way more comfortable if you really need a shooter. Other than that, this unit Calipe, very nice shooter. If you don't have her, Magna also very nice shooter. Because the reason why shooters are really good is that you take a lot of morale damage, which gives you the trauma thing into the promo bar. So if you do not have a shield and your unit hits too much morale damage, they'll go schizo faster. And then if you go schizo, you'll be basically wasting the entire like 2 to 3 turns to make them recover from their trauma. So generally speaking, I think by the time you reach to endgame, you almost really want a shooter to prevent taking too much morale damage. So far, even though I don't even use a shooter myself, so if I take a look at my I'm not sure if I can see my team building. Okay, but generally speaking, I always run Mika, Veronica. Then I'm basically testing out between Vernoa and Kayron to see which one I like a little bit more. I try with Selena a little bit for like toughness bar damage. I want to cook a little bit. Ray is like a support DPS. I think she's one of the only cards in the entire deck that can just support you, because she actually has, for example, plus 40% damage of her cards, plus 100% damage. No other cards in this game actually gives you that much support. So I think Ray might be like super. She's like a Bronya, kind of, right? But so far, I'm still testing out a little bit more. And at the end of day 1, you should be at least level 20, clearing up your chapter 3, and then by going to day 2, you reach close to level 30. I believe that if you do have your stamina potions, you should be using all of your stamina potions as fast as possible, because the way I see it with these kind of like progression games is that the faster you level up, the more quickly you unlock all of the new content, which makes you farm at a more vision base. So I always just slam all my stamina as fast as possible to level up as fast as possible, to proceed as fast as possible. If you don't really want to worry about it, I wouldn't really think about it. It's like a jobber, or you want to take it more casually, fine. I have not used a single standard refresh because I mentioned I'm a complete free to play, so take it as you will. I think we're gonna be doing a lot more CZN content, like all of the chaos guys, all of the end game. End game content. There's 1 more end game content, or rather 2 more. These are battle missions. They are basically like your one-time clear challenge stages. You don't have to worry about it that much. But the hard mode is where it's like a lot more challenging, right? So the hard mode for chapter 1, chapter 2, and eventually chapter 3, these are like a lot more difficult. So I can foresee this being like a little bit like a puzzle solving one-time clear thing. And another one that's an endgame, which is gonna be, if you take a look over here into, I believe here. Yeah, the basin of hyperspace. So basin of hyperspace is quite literally what you call it, memory of chaos that you would expect from HSR. Yeah, so this is basically the MOC of CZN. So the first basin, you unlock T1, Team 2, you need 2 different teams of 3, and that's going to be finally after you reach level 30. So we'll see where that goes. Bonus 7. Okay, Chaos Zero Nightmare Gacha is like a mixture of Uma Musume plus Royal Games plus the standard pity with the build over everywhere. So how it essentially functions is there is a 50-50 in this game, but the 50-50 is activated at 70 hard pity. And then from the 58th pool onwards, it's your soft pity. So 58 is your soft pity, 70 is your hard pity, and then if you lose this 50-50, you get the next one in 140 pools. The exact same price, 160 of this premium currency for one pool, which is the exact same pricing, right? So the good thing about this is no agents here, or at least if they say like combatant rescue rate up, they are not limited banners. So after this banner goes away, it will basically just get added to your normal banner after this. So there isn't a limited unit for now, unless they actually have a limited banner. And yes, pity does carry over, right? Pity does carry. All events that are part of the commander share an accumulation towards a 5-star pity. So all of the pity does carry over, but I don't think this is going to be the only banner, because I have played Epic 7 and it took them, I think, like half a year to introduce ML summons. So even though right now this banner looks like, oh my god, it's super player friendly, because it's basically like 140 for hard pity, you have a shared pity, you have pity carry over, you have higher odds, which is basically 1%. So the SR rate is 1% instead of the usual, because usually it's 0.6, right? Now this is 1%, and you bring this into the standard banner. But what I believe is gonna happen is maybe after half a year or 1 year, they will introduce another banner that is like more expensive, and then there's like the premium units. I think that's might happen. I have no idea, but as of where it stands right now, this looks like super player friendly, because there isn't ML summons, because the light and dark are within the pool right now, right? There's light unit, dark unit, fire, water, and wind. Maybe they have another banner next time, but if they don't, then this is super nice. So that's gonna be for you. The weapon banner or like the partner banner is kind of like the same thing. Generally speaking, I don't think I know any free-to-plays right now that are pulling for this banner. And honestly, not even free-to-play, like even like spending players, probably everybody is just trying to get their hands on like what exactly can do the units. But I will say in the early game bottleneck is that some partner cards are like really good, like a lot better than other partner cards. So for example, this partner card right here, like any partner card that says draw, like the ability is draw, it's very nice. So, okay, so this is like a very raw DPS partner card. And then we have a couple of the other cards, like for example, this Ababa Mami, she gives you draw. So any cards or partner cards that gives you card cycling, AP, is like super nice, because it follows your deck a lot faster, right? So, those are gonna be the Gacha System, right? Oh, there's one more, There's one more. This is not an Eidolon, it is like a skin / animation gacha. So what essentially this does is you can unlock animations for your character's cards. So you know like how Hearthstone, you have like the golden version of the cards, and then the animation lights up. So the exact same thing can be seen over here. It is purely just for cosmetics. So if I will do a tempo, okay, I have Veronica, I'll do a tempo right now, but about them rank, hit. I will just skip this. Wow, you cannot make this shit up. Holy shit. Okay, so I guess we got the, I guess that's our skin in a single tempo. That's absolutely crazy. Generally speaking, it is still the exact same PD. It is still the exact same PD as your normal. So if you have your SSR units or any of these SSR, you can get them. You unlock the skin animation, which you come over here. So you come over here, and then there's the cards. So you can use this to unlock a special animation for any one of these, right? For any one of these. So you want an animation for this. So for example, I'm just gonna go with this card, because this is like my OP card that I always out this out of the game. So I hit this, fire motion. Whoa! Rainbow Prisms, crazy. see. Okay, but it does absolutely nothing. It is purely just for cosmetics, but yeah, resolution complete, so just for a little bit more QL, right? Crazy. But that would pretty much wrap up our entire day 1 progression for CZ. And let me know what you guys in the comments. But I'm so sorry, I sound like I'm rambling, but there's like so many things to process. I think this game is super fucking fun. If you want to check out my review for this game, it can be seen right here. Editor. Alright, just screenshot this and then paste it on the video itself, right? If you want to see my review of what season is going to be about. Word of the day is going to be Holy Overworking, Serenity is coming, join Twitch, join Discord, use code for 10% gamers out there. I'll see you later. Hit.